St. Marcos on Monday, August 8th at 3:15 to attend an important water seminar held by the Southern Family Farmers and Food Systems Conference. Some of you know Judith McGurry on the Farm and Ranch Freedom Alliance. She is part of organizing that conference every year. And the seminar is entitled, Who Gets Water in Texas? Now and in the Future. And Robert Bass, one of the top experts in groundwater in Texas, will discuss the current state of use and the future outlook for this vital resource. Milan Michaela is the president of the Cow Creek Groundwater Conservation District. That's Kendall County. Most of you know Bernie's in Kendall County. Will share how landowners and concerned citizens can impact the future of their communities. And the conversation then shifts to surface waters with water attorney Warren Ice, explaining how rural communities can help protect surface water flows and surface water quality in the face of rapid development. And last but not least, I wanted to give you my campaign flyer, not to lobby you or even ask for your vote, but just to make sure that you get it from the horse's mouth that I am running as an independent for Texas House District 17, and exactly why I am running. So you heard it from the horse's mouth. Yeah.
Okay, Linda, will you repeat where Robert Bass is going to be, where it is?
It's in San Marcos at Texas State University, and you can go to the Farm and Ranch Freedom. It's on August 8th, which is a Monday, at 3:15, and you can go to the Farm and Ranch Freedom Alliance website and get the entire program for the event. And if all else fails, give me a call. Thank you, board.
All right, thank you. All right. Our next speaker is Andy Weir. He's also speaking on a non-event.
Good evening, I'm Andy Weir. I'm a landowner in Bastrop County, and I have a domestic well in the Sinsboro formation of the Carrizo-Wilcox Aquifer. I'm speaking to you tonight as the executive director for the Sinsboro Aquifer Water Defense Fund, SAWDEF, as you know it's called. So I wanted to announce that the Texas House of Representatives Natural Resources Committee has scheduled a hearing on interim charges regarding groundwater, and that's going to be at 10 a.m. on Wednesday, August 24th at the Capitol Extension Building. This is the Natural Resources Committee is chaired by Representative Tracy King. And the charge is to examine the state's groundwater management policy and regulatory framework to include a review of large-scale water transfers and their impact on groundwater resources, and also to make appropriate recommendations for legislation or state agency action regarding the promotion of achievement of planning goals under Chapter 36, including the desired future conditions, to provide transparency in the permit application process, and to further the state's groundwater quality protection efforts, including an assessment of risks posed to groundwater by abandoned or deteriorated wells and orphaned gas or oil wells. And last, to promote conservation and waste prevention. So I spoke with the committee's director, and he says that Chairman King wants to have an honest review of the Vista Ridge project and the impact that it has had outside of Coastal. And so SAWDEF and I are encouraging a lot of times Groundwater Conservation District would be represented at that hearing and to talk about the impacts of Vista Ridge that it has had in the county. Also, back in July 28th, we had SAWDEF hosted a meeting with Austin Water to discuss their Aquifer Storage and Recovery Project, or ASR. And President Smith was there, Board Member Melissa Cole was there, and Jim Totten was there to hear a little more detail than we had before about them wanting to put water in the ground. One of the things was they showed their site selection criteria. And the Carrizo-Wilcox Aquifer and Bastrop and Lee counties rated high in their list of priorities, higher than the Trinity over in Maine. So they're going to be coming this way. So the reason I bring this up And you can talk with Jim or the board members that were there about their thoughts and concerns about this. But what I want to mention tonight is last week at the Texas Groundwater Protection Committee, and I didn't know this existed before, but it's got TCEQ, the Water Development Board, and Public Utilities Commission, and some groundwater districts, everybody involved in this protecting groundwater. They just wrote a paper called Opportunities and Challenges in Aquifer Storage and Recovery. And among the challenges they highlighted are that when you put this treated water in the ground, geochemical reactions, such as the mobilization of naturally occurring contaminants, including arsenic, iron, and magnesium, can result. And so, since we rate high on their site selection, I think it behooves Lost Pines to use this white paper for y'all to do further research and to use that in your discussions with Austin Water about where they might want to inject storage water in the Lee or Bastrop County, because it can have implications on the aquifer. So it's a great resource, and just wanted to make sure. I think President Smith probably already sent y'all emails telling you that this paper was available, but I hope that y'all will use that. Thank you.
Thank you, Andy. Our next item number 3, review and consider approval of minutes of the June 15th, 2022 regular board meeting. Has everyone had a chance to review the minutes? Are there any additions or corrections? Yes?
Did you sign up to speak?
I only had two. I had two slips.
Okay, sorry, I thought, yeah, so.
She got in just under the wire or over the 7 o'clock time. You still want to speak?
I can. It's okay.
Did you fill out a form
No,
before
I
the meeting
can't.
started?
Or I can wait till next time, it's okay. It's up to you. I understand.
Okay. Well, customarily, the rule is you come before the meeting starts and you fill this out, and we have it when the meeting starts. But in an abundance of caution, I'm going to ask you to go ahead and speak. If you can fill out the form, you can speak first, but we'll just trust you. We'll see you.
She's like, where do I go? What do I do?
Hi, I'm Alex. I live in Bastrop on Old Sayers Road. I have this shared well, like an exempt shared well right now with a shared well agreement between me and, well, there's 3 lots in the developer. And I met Mr. Totten in January of 2022, asking him to help me with my issues regarding my well right now. He conducted some water samples and provided me with paperwork that the well driller submitted. And I asked him a couple of questions regarding my well being an exempt well or a non-exempt well. And the last things I heard from Mr. Totten was that he needed to speak to his attorneys and that the district attorney was writing a report for the developer. And I haven't heard anything since then, so if you guys could offer some guidance or clarification on my well being an exempt well or a non-exempt well, I would really appreciate that.
Okay, and did we get your full name?
It's Alexandra Fight.
And Alexandra, since this matter is not on our agenda, we cannot discuss it with you. And so you'll need to probably pursue that with the general manager.
Yes, ma'am. Maybe.
Follow up. I'll talk to you after the meeting. If you stay after the meeting, we can talk, or we can talk tomorrow when I'm in the office.
Okay.
But thanks for coming to the meeting and bringing that up.
Of course. And definitely fill out the forms again.
Okay, now we're going to move to number 3, which are the minutes from June 15th, 2022 meeting. Does anybody
I'll make a
have
motion to approve.
Motion has been made to approve. Do we hear a second?
Second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve these minutes. All in favor? All opposed? Okay, the minutes are accepted. And that was Mr. Herb Cook. Okay, item number 4, discussion, consideration of and possible action on the approval of budget amendment number 2-2022 related to the procurement of services from Half Associates Incorporated I believe everybody has a copy of that budget amendment in their packet. And it is recommended to the Board of Directors for the purpose of funding a new line item under professional services for the database. The recommended changes as follows: redirect $39,000 from text pool and direct $39,000 into a new line item for the payment to have for services related to the creation, implementation, and hosting of the district water well database. This was voted on in our last meeting, and we need this budget amendment to take care of the cost of paying for it. Does anybody have any discussion on this?
I will put forward that we didn't have any real direction on where that money needed to come from, so the staff suggestion was just pull it from tech pool to create the line item. If the board would be more comfortable reallocating to a different line item, we certainly do that. But tech pool would be the easiest way to allocate those funds without.
It seems like the easiest thing to do. If it has to be justified later, we can do something different. Okay. Do I hear a motion to approve this budget amendment?
I'll make the motion to approve the amendment.
We have a motion to approve the amendment. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve this budget amendment number 2-2022. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Number 5, discussion, consideration of and possible action on the approval of a resolution of the district authorizing support for legislative changes relating to the authority of the district. Now, President Smith and board member Elvis have visited with Senator Colthurst, who is going to be our new senator in Bastrop County and is already the senator for Lee County. And I'm going to let Elvis take it from here and describe this resolution.
Yeah, there was a meeting that was spearheaded by well owner Nancy McKee and her husband, and Mr. Andy Weir was there as well. Cheryl Smith and myself attended the meeting with the senator's office. We met primarily with her lawyer. There was a meeting or a hearing in May at the state capitol where several well owners from Lee County went out there and expressed their concern over their well pumps going bad, and they're having to lower their pump. As a result of that meeting, it appears that the senator took that to heart, and her lawyer told us that they are very eager and willing to sponsor and champion new legislation upcoming in January for a new law to allow the Lost Pines to truly create a mitigation fund. As folks may or may not know, right now the Lost Pines cannot create a mitigation fund the way the law is written. We cannot take public money and give it to private people. So we are a bit restrained legally in terms of how we can create any mitigation to help out well owners when their wells are impacted. So the senator is definitely, she wants it championed, so they informed us, our lawyer told us that if the district were to create a resolution and vote on a new resolution saying that we want a new law, new legislation to be worked on, that if we voted on that, and if we had the Bastrop County Commissioners and the Lee County Commissioners also vote on a similar resolution, that they would then take that and champion it in the new legislature coming up in January. So they thought that this was doable as long as we kept the legislature language to be local to the Lost Pines, maybe including Post Oak, but certainly just keep it local to the Lost Pines. And the lawyer said that we believe we'll have a really good chance of being able to get a new law passed.
And so both commissioners' courts have approved a similar resolution. The Bastrop County did at that.
No, that was the right way. So we haven't done that yet. No, Nancy and Andy will be championing that
Okay.
right after we vote on our resolution.
That's right, they need to take this.
Then they'll take our signed resolution and they'll champion it at upcoming in August. The The lawyer wanted this all done by September 1st in order to be ready to go for the new legislature come January. So this, I thought it was great news. And so we're working with Greg Ellis. So Greg Ellis, we gave him the green light to work with the senator's lawyer and draft up some new language for a new law. So they're going to be working with both the senators and the legal folks, and they're going to be drafting up the new language in preparation for January, for the new session coming up in January. So we're here today to discuss this resolution that was, it was reviewed by Greg Ellis and by Natasha, this resolution.
So the kind of the operative part of it is the last line on page 1. It says the board seeks to expand the use of fees collected and supports legislation authorizing the district to use fees collected to support groundwater well assistance for existing wells experiencing adverse impacts caused by groundwater production, either inside or outside the district. And so this is a good step on the way towards setting up our mitigation process and not having it.
And not having it be legally at risk. No.
So, any discussion? Anybody have questions?
I do.
Yes?
Yes, ma'am. You said the word inside and outside the district,
Yes, sir.
so they want the people that pay right here to pay for wells outside the district?
No, it was to support groundwater well assistance for existing wells experiencing adverse impacts caused by groundwater production, either inside or outside. So if the groundwater production is, for instance, over in Post Oak, but it causes damage to our wells in Lost Pines, we can use these fees to help the well owners, as we tried to do earlier this year.
Yeah, it's trying to cover the existing case where Vista Ridge, that pumping is causing issues in in our district, Carrizo wells, like Nancy's wells, for example, her wells. So it's trying to cover that.
It's not talking about wells outside.
It's talking about pumping
It's
outside.
talking about people that are pumping on a permit not issued by us.
I'm gonna draw the line between the two districts. Their well is in our district. I have no problem paying, I have no problem voting yes on that. I do have a problem with what I'm hearing is that if there's a well across the line, that imaginary line, I don't pay for it.
No, not.
That's not what it says.
Not what it's saying. It's saying that the pumping, the permit is across the line. The actual pumping, like Vista Ridge, they're pumping over from Post Oak, right? That's what it's saying, the source, where the pumping is coming from, that's across the line.
Okay, would you, your name is Rogers, would you read it just one more time?
I sure will,
Thank you.
with emphasis. Okay, the board seeks to expand the use of fees collected, which, you know, we have wanted to be able to use our fees collected to help people with problems with their wells that have been caused by Vista Ridge. So, anyway, we've been wanting to do that. So this is to expand the use of fees collected and supports legislation authorizing the district to use the fees collected to support groundwater well assistance for existing wells. And it doesn't say in our district, but I think it's understood, existing wells in our district experiencing adverse impacts caused by groundwater production, either inside or outside the district.
It's clear now, thank you.
Sure.
You read the fee.
We could add that.
I think maybe this is
yeah.
good, Billy, we need to add
We need to
that.
add that, Billy.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, why don't we add, you know,
For
for
existing wells inside the
district.
district.
And then just,
Yeah.
yeah,
Then I'm a happy boy.
yeah, and that's a great comment.
Thank you.
Let's just add that.
So, we're gonna be, on page 2, after the word wells, we're gonna interlineate inside the district before the word experience. And that will be the resolution that we vote on.
Vice President Rogers,
Yes.
one other clarification, the third point on the second page, the general manager and the legislative council are authorized to take any action. don't have a legislative council. I don't know if that means we refer to a legislative committee, or if that means the executive committee of the district. So we may want to clarify that language.
In that case, it's Greg Ellis, I believe.
Or maybe Greg Ellis calls himself our
Now,
legislative council.
where are we on there?
It's the third point, now therefore be it resolved.
Oh, down there,
Point
down there
three.
on page 2.
Yes, ma'am.
Huh, exactly. Who is the legislative council?
Maybe that's correct, too. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know that.
But it could be great.
I think we-
Yes, but, you know, Greg Ellis is our legislative council.
Drafted resolution. Right.
Right, yeah.
So he promoted himself from lobbyist to legislative council.
Would you guys like to?
I mean, if that's what it is, then I'm good. I just want to make clarification.
No, I understand. And if they didn't want this ASAP, we could wait to talk to him, and what do you suggest, Dick?
No, if he's identified as legislative
I think-
council,
I
I think that, I mean, if it needs to be changed, we can approve it based on making
Okay,
necessary revisions.
okay.
Just confirm that that's Greg Ellis there.
Yes.
Okay.
He was talking about himself.
Right.
All right, so, we now have an amended resolution that we need to either pass or not pass. So do I hear any motion to adopt it? Oh, yes,
I guess
please.
you'll get the motion first and then we can
Well, discussion.
You're talking about fees, using fees. I presume that's the normal fees that we collect.
Yeah, the normal fees.
We're not going to put no fee out there.
No new fees, just, we had some grumbling about the use of fees for mitigation, and we're trying to recognize.
Post those fees, that's what I'm going to do.
It's my understanding that our council is still discussing with Costa, some sort of joint liability on that sort of thing, but at this point, you know, this is just regarding the Lost Pines Groundwater District, and that's what the senator wanted, just very local, so. Okay. More questions?
I'll give you time to start clapping. She asked if I had another question, I told her to give me more time at the proper time.
Never mind.
That's what I'm talking to.
All right, do I hear a motion to adopt this resolution as we have amended it tonight?
May I make the motion?
You may.
Thank you, ma'am.
Mr. Sherrill has made the motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Who is that?
Tonight.
Mr. Sinani has seconded it. We have a motion and a second to adopt this resolution as we have amended it tonight. Do I hear any ayes for approval? Anybody opposed? Okay, passes. Item number 6. This is my little item I put on. Discuss the drought conditions in the district and statewide and drought measures taken by utilities in the district. And to that end, we've included a couple of newspaper articles in your packet. The first one is entitled Aqua Water Entering into Stage 2 Drought Response Effective Monday, July 18. And it goes on to describe what those responses are. And I just think it's really noteworthy for us as a water district to know that we may have to respond sooner rather than later. The second article says areas water woes worsen. And what caught my attention on this is it does talk about the water district in Austin. And they've been measuring the wells and their aquifer, and they found that the aquifer had dropped, 10 feet, I think? And I just wondered, Mr. Totten, if we're, the Edwards Aquifer Authority had been, running monitors on their wells, and they discovered the aquifers dropping.
So, we did our spring measurements, and I'm sure when we go back out and do the full district in the fall, we're gonna see significant drops. Probably not as bad as what we saw in 2011. If it continues like this for multiple years, we'll get down to that 2011 area. But it's one, we'll see what it drops to in the fall, and then see what it bounces back to in the spring. In the meantime, we can pray for hurricanes, and hopefully it'll give us a little bit of relief. But right now, the only place where we have real ongoing continuous monitoring is up in the North Lee County area, where we're watching the impacts from Vista Ridge. But like I say, we'll do the fall monitoring across the entire district, and that'll give us a good baseline, how that has responded to the drought.
Any thoughts on what this drought and hot weather's doing to aquifer recharge?
Can't imagine there's any aquifer recharge going on right now.
I know, so I just wondered if we needed to do any more than just the quarterly checking on things. I mean, if anything seems like it's more immediate at this point. It just does to me when I go outside in the afternoon. So it just makes me feel.
Well, like I said, it's not quite 2011 yet, but it's starting to feel a lot like it. We can go back out and, pull some intermediate measures, intermediate measurements on some of our monitoring wells, just to get a baseline and see what has happened since the spring readings. Javier, have fun with that. So, we can gather some of that data for y'all for next month or the month after, and then, like I said, we'll have our fall readings. One thing after we discussed this the other day that I thought about was we could begin collecting what stage drought restriction all our permit holders are in, and publicizing that through our website as well, just to help people, and link out to the current, drought response for each of our permit holders, so people are aware. If they happen to be on our site, they can link out and see where, their particular water provider is, and maybe that gives them an idea of what they need to be doing.
Well, I just think under our education conservation wing of the district, we could certainly be educating even our exempt well owners too about the steps they may want to take. I mean, this seems to me very serious, but we've got the rest of the summer at over 100 degrees, and people are using more water. We're not getting any rain, so anyway. I just wanted to talk about it. Anybody else have any thoughts or comments? Okay. No, committee reports. Do we have a report from the Education Outreach Committee?
Yes. The Education Outreach Committee met last Friday for our second meeting, and we discussed the number of the development of educational materials and programs, including we think it's important that we develop a PowerPoint presentation that can be used by board members and district staff when they have public meetings and so forth. And this presentation will cover the history and purpose of groundwater conservation districts, tools to accomplish the mission, desired future conditions, and water conservation. Associated with that, a lot of these ideas that the committee had, they overlap one another and can be used to produce other things. For example, part of the PowerPoint presentation can be used to the development of a general brochure that also includes what the district can and can't do for well owners. We also have a K-12 program, and I talked to Kathy Baker, and she's developing Texas Essential Knowledge and Skills associated with different elements of the curriculum that will help the schools see the importance of the program, because that aligns with what Texas expects from students when they get certain types of curriculum. Javier has been working and came out with a second newsletter. We talked about expanding the newsletter to include biographies of Lost Pines staff and maybe board directors, education articles and news, and to coordinate those newsletters with also press releases that to educate the public in the district. We also are developing procedures for a calendar and photo contest. Very similar to, if you're aware of the Hill Country Alliance, they have a photo contest and they use the photos to develop a calendar. One of the things that the committee has discovered is looking at the district, and this is also important in terms of developing a PowerPoint or brochures. We don't have any good photos. We don't have photos of what the district does. So I think that photo contest will help us get some of the photos that we can use for educational materials. The other thing we think is important, and Elvis and I on the web committee, we need to expand our email list to better our communication with our clients in Lee and Bastrop County. We should have an email for every well owner in the district. So one of the ways we're going to accomplish that is there's a section on the web page, but it's buried, where we're going to bring it out to the front, where people can sign up for emails and list their emails, where we can then, the district can better communicate with the majority of well owners in the district. Today I called the coordinator for the Texas Well Owners Network, and we're going to start putting programs in the fall in Lee County and next spring for Bastrop County. The Well Owners Network that Texas A&M Extension agents provide, and I've been to those programs. They're excellent. They'll also provide well screening in terms of water quality associated with the wells. And last, we discussed conservation awards, and I forget who brought it up, but using the concept of social competition theory, where you can get people to do more by not telling them what to do, but competing with their neighbors. And one of the ways to do that is to start to publish annually sort of a conservation, and we'd be looking at different cities in Lee and Bastrop counties and reporting on their per capita water use. And that's a way to get people to start conserving more water if people in Bastrop County want to do a better job of conserving in Lee County, or Elgin better than Bastrop or something like that. So that's the other thing the committee is developing. And that's all I got in terms of a report. Any questions?
Sounds like a lot. Sounds like y'all been busy. Do you have a calendar about when you plan to try to move into any of these?
No.
Okay. Financial Services Committee?
We have not met. The only thing on our plate is really the interlocal agreement that Natasha is trying to negotiate with Polk Savannah. And the last update from Natasha was that it was slowly progressing, but very slowly. But other than that, there's nothing else to report.
Okay. Governance Committee, I guess that's me, and we met about this agenda, but I'm not sure that we didn't really, our report is kind of the agenda.
Right.
So I guess that just gets put on there as sort of a placeholder.
Possibly the only thing on there would be the RFQ. There's an RFQ submission deadline on the 22nd. So in 2 days from now is the submission deadline for the RFQ
Okay.
for the hydrologist
Okay.
services.
Good
That's
point.
what's the title.
Anybody here from the Infrastructure Committee?
Yes, I was asked to report out on our realtor regarding the property on Pink Creek. We received an email from Shara Parker. She's just saying, good morning, I wanted to update everyone on your listing. They're averaging a call per week for 10 days. There has not been significant interest yet. The market has slowed from the last 2 years where everything sold in a blink. Sales are steady and pretty consistent. Prices are still strong. That was her update.
Do you know the asking price?
$250,000 is the listing price on the property in Page.
Okay.
So they're averaging a call every week or 10 days, but nothing significant yet. So that's the update on the realtor.
And Melissa, can you give us the high points of the management committee report?
I sure can. We met on July 12th. We discussed our goal number 5, which is to address the natural resource issues that impact the use and availability of groundwater and the impacts to the groundwater, with an objective of identifying potential hazards that might negatively impact the quality of the water and reduce availability of high-quality groundwater. Our first performance standard would be to produce a map that includes the location of all known and identifiable mining hazards, which would be coal ash, gravel, sand, anything that could impact our groundwater. Our performance standard 2 is going to be to research websites and other sources for potential hazards and build our own in-house database for these hazards and negative impacts. We have a whole list of sites that we're going to look at. We will also, as we are meeting with stakeholder groups or the public, would like to get input on any sites they're aware of to let us know about in case we don't know about. We then discussed the Brazos Valley Groundwater Conservation District. We looked at their production caps because we're still exploring production caps to implement. They have unique ones, but we're looking at about 5 before we make any decisions on that. We did talk about the aquifer storage and recovery. Andy, you'll be glad to know that we did think that there were a lot of missing pieces. And we brought up those, and we all had a lot of unanswered questions that the Austin Water couldn't answer. And we think we should ask Austin Water to come give a presentation to the board, but we want to have some more answers to our questions before they come. There'd be no reason to have them come without them. We talked about surface water monitoring, and we feel that's a factor of importance, and that we should look for data on streams that are being gauged and possibly incorporate in some fashion into our management plan. So we're going to start looking at stream flow data, water quality monitoring data, and pull historic data for documentation. And we're also going to ask folks in our districts to let us know about seeps and springs on their land or that they're aware of, not that we can maybe document them, but we just want to know what's going on, so we can know about those too. And we talked about the establishment of a DFC for the Colorado River alluvial, but we're not sure. Jim had the question of whether alluvial needs to be declared a minor aquifer before we could actually set up a DFC for it. So we're waiting on clarification. That's it.
Thank you. Okay, that's all the committee reports. Now we have the general manager's report. Jill?
Thank you, Madam Vice President, members of the board. For the reporting period of June 1st to June 30th, 2022, the district received registrations for 12 new wells and 1 pre-existing well for a total of 13 wells during that period. We conducted 1 water quality test and engaged approximately 20 wells, the vast majority of those being in North Lee County, covering the 410, 411, and 696 impacted areas. With regard to the drought conditions, as you brought up, Director Rogers, approximately 52% of Lee County and 4% of Bastrop County are currently experiencing severe drought conditions. The remainder of each county fall into the moderate drought condition per drought.gov. As of our meeting tonight, both Lee and Bastrop County's commissioners' courts have approved our interlocal agreement with regard to monitoring wells. So that interlocal agreement will give us the ability to place monitoring wells in the right-of-way of county roads in either district if we determine that we need to monitor a particular formation in a particular location and there are no other wells available to us. We're still working out the physical details of how those wells will be completed, so we can keep them out of the way of county shredders. Obviously, we don't want a shredder hitting a concrete or steel cap, especially in this weather. But that is going to be a last resort. If we can't find the well that we need, we'll be able to use the county roads to site those wells to help us fill in gaps as we go forward. GMA 12 has issued a call for comments regarding the process and procedure for setting the next round of DFCs. This came out of the last couple of meetings we had where, 5 GMs for the GMA were talking about what we needed to do differently, and we realized that, well, we did what we've done in the past, and that obviously didn't work as well as people wanted, so rather than us trying to figure out how to fix it, we should just ask people what we need to do better. So there's an open comment period or written comments regarding the DFCs that closes September 1st of this year. So we will be able to take any written comments regarding what we need to do differently at the GMA level, evaluate those comments, and try and build that into our process going forward. We discussed this with the governance committee. I believe that there's some interest in possibly having the Lost Pines District draft up some comments to supply as well. So I think the path forward there would be to have that done through the governance committee and brought back to the full board for review at the next August meeting. And then we can submit those comments before the September 1 deadline.
Now, Jim, should the public submit their comments to you and you'll pass them on to?
They can do that, or they can send them to Gary. I'd be perfectly happy if they send them to Gary.
Okay.
But yeah, they can send them to me as well.
And I assume there's a website that will tell them where to send them?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, the call for comments is posted on our website in the news section. Additionally, Water Development Board has declared the previous round's explanatory report to be administratively complete. So that's the last check mark on that process, and now we're just waiting for the new model runs to give us the new mags for the district. We anticipate we'll have those sometime in early to mid-August. So at that point in time, we'll have all the material we need to do the mandatory material required to do a management plan update. If we want to make more changes beyond that, we can work on that as well. But we've been stuck waiting for the new mags and the approval from TWDB before we can do those updates. So we'll start getting that process put together for September, and then go from there based on the board's wishes. Last month, the board was supplied a copy of the district's management plan, calendar/checklist as part of the general manager's report. Basically, we're going to be doing that, provide that to you every quarter to kind of help you keep track of what we're doing and keeping up with compliance with the management plan. At any point in time, if you have questions about that, feel free to give me a call at the office and we can talk through it. We're also working, obviously, through different committees on updating some of those performance standards and making changes to make them more relevant. So those, the next updated management plans and those performance standards will change, and that'll be reflected in the next checklist or calendar that we put out. So that's that. Also, the draft water level monitoring report was supplied to the management committee in early June. I believe all of you have now received a draft copy of that as well. Absent any comments from you as board members, we'll plan on releasing that as a final product in early August. So if you do have any comments or any suggestions or changes you'd like to see made between now and say the first week in August, please let us know. Otherwise, we'll plan on just making that a final document and putting it out on the website. With regard to pending permits, we do still have the Manville water supply permit. It's a no increase amendment seeking to add a new well to the well field. We thought we might have that for July, but they were missing a couple of maps that we needed them to generate. And due to miscommunication between their consultants and Manville, the consultant sent it to Manville, Manville said, hey, that's neat, put it in the file, and then send it to us. So we got the maps as of early this week. So that should be the last thing we need. We'll move forward on that application and have it for you at the August meeting. With regard to upcoming meetings, the only upcoming meeting we currently have on the calendar is Region K, which is going to be July 27th at 10 a.m. at the LCRA Center, the Dalco Center in Austin. And then, Director Rogers, per your request, again, the map where the new wells are is on the back of the GMR. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
I have a question. Can we make some inquiries to Post Oak Savannah and I didn't go into my notes to find that individual that's over the Alcoa lands with the water development.
SLR Properties.
Yes, okay, we can make some inquiries. I have a cousin that lives in Taylor, and he just got a large packet, and I have not been able to look at it. His lawyer has it now, but they're wanting to bring two 42-inch lines through his property to go to Sandstone. And I'm theorizing, and what I, talked to him about on Friday when I was over there, it's coming from the Alcoa lands, right on the Milam County line again, and sucking our water out on the north end of the county, this time on the west side.
Well, yes, sir, I absolutely agree with your assessment. What particular questions are you looking for?
I want to know if that's true, if the lines are coming from the SLR property.
Okay.
Milam County line.
Yes, sir, I suspect that's the case, but I'll double check that.
We can, I don't know, I might be talking completely crazy, but I'd like to know, and the board I probably would like to know, and these landowners here would like to know what we're going to be facing again.
I'll see if I can also get a timeline. I know that they've run a couple of pump tests on some of their.
Well, he told me that,
Yeah.
we talked to him in April. They were starting to do the monitor wells and that, and the pump.
I think the first actual pump test was last month. It may have been late May or early June, but it's been in the last, here relatively recently. Just as far as I know, it's 36-hour pump tests that they've done on 2 of their wells. But yeah, so we'll see if we can get more timelines and more information from Posto.
Thank you.
Lately, they've been a little less forthcoming than usual, but we'll take a big camera and
I
pair
can
of
tell
pliers.
you, my cousin, and these two lines are coming right almost in the backyard.
Yeah, I'll see what I can find out.
But he's not a happy camper, and there's some other people over there that aren't happy either. They're not too hot on pipelines anymore.
I can understand.
Jim, are any of the SLR wells in our district?
No,
They're right on the Milam County line, Milam-Lee County line, right there.
I'm sorry, allow me to clarify. SLR Properties bought out the Alcoa property,
Right.
so they do have, I believe, 6 permitted wells within our district. Those wells are primarily used to supply Manville Water Supply Corporation. The wells that Director Cook is talking about, those new wells and some of the old wells that existed back when Alcoa was still operational, those are entirely in Posto Savannah. So those are the wells that'll be driving up to Taylor, to drive water up to Taylor. The wells within our district are not part of
And
that.
those permits were given last September.
The permits, as I recall, actually were fairly old. They were part of the original
Well,
mining,
they modified them.
but they did modify them last
Right,
September.
so that September, they increased the pumpage quite a bit.
And they have transport permits?
It's within their district, I believe, so I don't think I'm not sure about that. I'm not versed on their transport permits up there.
But they got something because it's going. They're in the process of surveying, and this is gonna be done very, very quickly.
Uphill the money, sir.
Jim, I have a question on that draft water level report.
Yes.
There was mention of the Simsboro down dip areas, that there was some water level decreases. Geographic wise, do you recall that in the report?
I would have to go back and look.
Okay, well,
But go ahead, I'll see.
I was just trying to see where geographically that was referenced, they were referencing.
If I had to guess, I would speculate that you're probably referencing up here, County Road 14-411, where we're getting some of the impacts from the Vista Ridge project on the other side. Because Vista Ridge is in both Simsboro and Carrizo. And so those Vista Ridge wells, or the gatehouse wells that are up in that corner of the world, are some of the deepest Simsboro we have.
Okay.
So those would be most likely what he was referring to. I'd have to go back and look.
Does that be considered down dip?
Yes, sir, yeah, down it is just deeper.
That makes sense.
Who's working on the interlocal agreement with Posto?
That is running entirely through Natasha.
Natasha, and she's not having an easy time with it. Not getting responses back in a timely manner.
I wonder why.
Well, we might want to add the Alcoa wells to this. Okay, is that all, Jim?
I believe that's it for me. Although Okay, or you gonna do an announcement on 11? Okay. Then I'm done.
Okay, number 9, discussion of Lost Pines Groundwater Conservation District legislation, related legislation and/or activities occurring that affect or pertain to the district and groundwater.
I think the only thing is what we already discussed, where Greg Ellis is working that fund, you know.
Number 10, consideration of conferences, meetings, and educational opportunities board members desire to attend. So there is one at the end of August and the first day of September in San Antonio. I think time is drawing near to sign up for. Am I right, Peggy?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
There's also another one, help me get it right, during the same exact time, but they're encouraging folks on groundwater districts who want to attend. What would it be?
So, watershed training short course by
That's
Texas
several
A&M.
days.
Really? Is it in College Station?
No, at the main ranch, which is a food resort.
Blake Hope.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, hopefully somebody will go to that. Number 11, consideration of agenda items, calendar, events, and are there
May I
any?
speak, please? I have a, and I apologize because my mind stays not on anything.
It's on number 11.
Thank you very much.
How long does your hair?
I believe the lady down there in blue is our lawyer.
She is.
This is for you, ma'am. I got a letter in the mail the other day for Manville to want an easement on my property. Is that a conflict of interest?
We have to review the letter and see the details of it, if you want to provide it.
Would you please speak louder?
I said we would have to review the letter and see what the details are and figure out what they're asking for, what specific. So we would need to get more information.
Okay, I just,
You know what is it?
all right, thank you, and I will bring y'all a copy when I see y'all next month.
Okay, or you can email it if you want to just scan it and take a picture, you can email it to us.
Okay, I'll see you next month.
Are there some announcements?
Yes. So we have just been served for a lawsuit from LCRA today. And so we are reviewing the actual pleadings and the documents, and we don't have an update right now, but we will be getting an update and a response to you guys.
Okay. Any more announcements? Questions? It's just really early, right? Okay. Well,
Hey, you run a good meeting.
if there's, I think they pared this down for my benefit. All right, then I'm gonna, yes?
On the LCRA thing, does that start a clock for y'all to respond? And what is the time period?
Yes, we will have to respond with an answer, but we haven't gotten too much details. When I say it was just sent out this afternoon, we just got
So I
served.
mean, the clock starts, so is it 30 days, 90 days?
Generally, your answer is 20 days, the first Monday following 20 days after the suit. Now, the lawsuit is probably early because they still have some answers that, to the second, I guess, hearing that's going. So it may be a bit premature.
Okay.
And so that will be addressed and also evaluated to determine when our answer will be due. But based on this, we would have an answer. Generally, it's 20 days. It's the Monday following 20 days.
Okay.
So can you give us a quick summary of what we did right that they're suing us?
Not really, because I haven't even looked at the pleading yet.
They emailed it out to us today.
Yeah, I mean, this literally hours before we got here, so. But we will definitely have something for you in the coming weeks.
All right, if there's nothing further. Mr. Sheriff?
I Quite well, thank you, ma'am, I appreciate it.
All right, then, this meeting is adjourned.
See if I can get all this stuff signed.
You go do all that, I'm gonna run the bathroom.
Okay. I'm afraid I didn't have to do that.